As the author of this series, I extend a warm welcome to you, the reader, as we embark on a journey through the corridors of real-life events that span over 7 years through 7 books. This collection is a testament to the resilience, complexity, and the indomitable spirit of those whose stories are chronicled within these pages. At the heart of this series is a deep commitment to ethical storytelling. It is important to me that the reader understands the gravity with which I have approached the task of narrating these true events. Every effort has been made to ensure that the privacy and anonymity of individuals are preserved. Names, dates, and other identifying details have been altered, not to dilute the truth, but to protect the identities of those involved. This series does not seek to identify or expose, but rather to share a narrative that, while true, has been carefully curated to respect the anonymity of its subjects. The events and characters, though rooted in reality, have been presented in such a way that any direct connection to actual persons, living or dead, is either coincidental or used fictitiously to protect their identities. I also wish to make it clear that my recounting of these events comes from a place of respect and with the consent of those who have shared their true stories with me. Where direct consent could not be obtained, I have taken even greater care to ensure that stories are told in a way that respects the dignity and privacy of all involved. As you navigate through this series, I invite you to read with an open heart and a mindful awareness of the complexity of life's narratives. The journey we are about to undertake together is one of understanding, empathy, and respect for the resilience of the human spirit.
Sometimes changes in the situation in the real world can call for the overruling of a precedent. An example of that is provided by Katz versus United States, which I was talking about this morning in relation to wiretapping. The old rule under Olmstead was that in order for there to be a search, you had to look to property law. You had to see whether there was an invasion of a property interest. And then with the development of electronic communications and electronic surveillance, wiretapping, or other forms of electronic surveillance, which is what was involved in Katz, the Supreme Court said that this isn't a sensible way to apply the Fourth Amendment principle under the conditions of the modern world. And they said famously that the Fourth Amendment protects people, not places. So they shifted. They found the doctrinal underpinnings of the old Olmstead rule to be undermined by developments in the society, and they shifted the focus from property law to whether somebody had an expectation of privacy.
In this series, we delve into the heart of human connection, exploring the intricacies of relationships that shape the essence of our being. The narratives within these pages are not just personal stories. They are reflections of a broader human experience, underscored by compelling statistics that reveal the profound impact of interactions in our lives. Recent studies underscore the significance of deep, meaningful relationships. For instance, research from the American Psychological Association suggests that strong social connections can increase a person's lifespan by up to 50%, highlighting a vital role that relationships play in our health and longevity. Furthermore, data from the Global Wellness Institute reveal that people with robust social ties report better mental health outcomes, underscoring the inseparable link between our relationships and our mental well-being. These statistics are not mere numbers. They are a testament to the power and necessity of connection in our lives. They serve as a backdrop to the stories you are about to read, stories that are deeply personal, yet universally relevant. As we navigate through the narratives of love, loss, and transformation, we are reminded of the real-world implications of our connections with others. This series aims to not only share tales of personal journey and growth, but also to illuminate the critical importance of our relationships as evidenced by research. In doing so, we bridge the gap between individual stories and collective experiences, offering insights into how our bonds with others shape our health, happiness, and overall quality of life. As you accompany me through this experience, I invite you to reflect on the statistics and stories alike, allowing them to enrich your understanding of the profound effect that relationships have in our lives.
Thank you. My name is Mark Ludwig. I do want to thank the members of the committee for taking the time to hear this issue, an extremely important one. Without going into all the details, out of respect for my son and his right to love his mom, shortly after my son was born, I went 204 days without seeing my son. At the end of that time, I was relegated to the equivalent of an every other weekend visitor. Shortly after that, I was diagnosed with a pretty large growth in my brain. We didn't know what my future was going to be like. And it dawned on me that at that point, if something were to happen to me, my son's mom would automatically get sole custody. But it also dawned on me if the situation had been reversed, I would have automatically gotten sole custody of the very son that I was already only getting every other weekend. Why would it take the death of a parent to convert from an every other weekend visitor to having full custody of a child? This is resonating, and it's the only issue in 30 years that I've been around the political arena that crosses gender lines, crosses racial lines, crosses political lines, crosses socioeconomic lines. It affects everybody because we already know half of all marriages end in divorce. And for children, they have two traumas that they're dealing with. Trauma one is mom and dad aren't together. They don't know why, but they're very confused because they love both of them. Now add into that confusion, only one of them do they get to see on a regular basis. The other one is relegated as a visitor, which makes one parent in their mind the superior parent and one parent's the inferior parent. Now imagine that to a 7-year-old child or a 5-year-old child that doesn't know how to verbalize this confusion. And we wonder why when we look at the statistics, between 70 and 94% of violent crime rates, incarceration rates, high school dropouts, behavioral problems, substance abuse problems can all be tracked to growing up, in many cases without the father, but this is technically gender neutral. I'll fight just as hard for a mother as I will for a father. But the situation can be solved so easy by starting the case with a 50-50. In every other area of law, we start out with a due process that says people are innocent until proven guilty. And yet we walk into a courtroom and one parent is presumed to have the upper hand in most cases.
Marriage and divorce are also significant facets of American life, with the American Psychological Association noting that about 40 to 50% of married couples in the United States will become divorced. The aftermath of these divorces often involves family court decisions that can profoundly affect the lives of all involved, particularly concerning child custody. Restrictions on parents from seeing their children, a matter deeply entangled within the justice system, can have lasting impacts on both the parents and the children. Case law and common standards within the U.S. justice system, such as the best interest of the child standard, used in custody cases, play a pivotal role in these outcomes. This standard, while designed to prioritize the welfare of the child, is subject to interpretation and application by the courts, leading to a variety of decisions that can deeply affect family dynamics. The statistics and legal frameworks mentioned here are not just numbers or abstract principles. They are reflections of real people's experiences that some of you may find mirrored in the situations contained within these series. As we explore narratives that touch on these sensitive areas, it is only with a profound sense of responsibility and a commitment to shedding light on the human aspects behind the statistics and legalities. This series aims to offer insights into the complexities of human relationships as they intersect with the legal and societal structures in our current society. By doing so, I hope to foster a deeper understanding of the challenges faced by many and are encouraged a dialogue on how we, as a society, can better support individuals and families navigating these difficult waters. As you engage with this series, I invite you to consider the broader implication of these stories, reflecting on the intertwining of personal experiences with the larger societal and legal contexts. I hope this story inspires empathy, awareness, and ultimately, action towards positive change.